and on the last bead you're going to crisscross with the left hand thread. And pull. Okay, so now we're going to take this left hand thread and go through the closest left hand bead once. So now, as you can see, we basically have half of the sphere completed, and we're going to move on to the next half. So up next you're going to add 3 beads, because if you're checking between your 2 threads you have 2. So you need 3 to complete the 5 bead circle. 1, 2, and your third. And on the third you're going to take your left hand thread and crisscross it back through. Pull. Now, because we don't want this circle to get any larger, we're going to go through 2 of your closest left hand beads. So that would be this bead and also this bead. One and 2. So now if you look, we have 3 beads in between our threads. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to need to add 2 beads on the right hand side. Okay, and on your second bead you're going to crisscross back through. Pull tight. And then you're going to go through 2 left hand beads again. So that would be this bead and also this bead. Oops. So 1. Maybe sometimes it's tricky to get it through the beads. Pull tight. So we have 3 beads in between the thread again, so we're going to add 2 more beads on the right hand side. And on the second bead we're going to crisscross back through with the left hand thread. And pull tight, and then we're going to go through 2 more left hand, the closest to left hand bead. So that would be, whoops, this bead and also this bead. And we are almost done. So 1, 2, and pull tight. So we have 3 beads in between the threads. So that means we need to add 2 more beads. 1 and 2, crisscrossing on the last bead with your left hand thread, pulling tightly. Okay, so now on this last pass through we're going to go through 3 the 3 closest left hand beads. So that would be this bead here, also this bead, and this bead. So 1, 2, and 3. And now we pull tight. So if you can see, in between the 2 threads we have 4 beads here. So that means we just need 1 bead to finish off the sphere. So 1 bead, and just like as all the others, we're going to crisscross with the left hand thread and pull through. And then we have a completed sphere there, but we need to make sure that it's secured. So what I usually do is I take the left hand thread, and I go through all of the beads closest on the left-hand side until I get back to the right-hand thread. So that would be 4 beads. 1, 2, 3, and the 4th here. And pull it tight. So now you can see that the threads are, well, if I can get my fingers out of the way here, the threads are back together again, and we're just going to tie a square knot here. So we tie our knot and just pull it tight. Make sure all the beads are touching, and then I tie another one just for safety. And then just to make sure that if for any reason this knot came undone, I thread it through a couple more beads and then make another knot. So there's no rhyme or reason to it. I just kind of take the thread and just kind of thread it through a couple of beads on the right hand side. And this is the left hand thread. And I'm going to take this one through a couple of beads on the left hand side. So our threads are pretty far apart, so I'm going to try and lead one closer to the other so that we can tie another knot. Okay, so now our threads are back together, and I'm just going to tie another 2 sets of knots right here, just to make sure that it's extra secure. Pull it tight. So now we have these kind of leftover threads, and we're just going to take a pair of scissors and cut them as close as you can. Okay, so there you go. There's your completed spherical bead that's made out of a whole bunch of little pearl beads. Okay, so we finished our 5 bead balls, and now we're going to start working on the actual necklace part of this project. I forgot to mention earlier in the tutorial that you're also going to need a couple of needle nose pliers. I'm sure that they sell specific ones for jewelry, but these are just from my husband's toolbox, and they'll work just fine. So what we're going to do is to kind of create in our example necklace, we have the lobster claw on one end, and then we have this kind of loop, and then the pearl at the end, and this is where you'll actually clasp the next necklace together, and this is just so that people can have options of length. And so we're going to do that over here. So count 6 large circles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you're going to cut in between on this little, the little circle in between after the 6th large one. Okay, so we've got our pliers lined up after the 6th large circle, and we're just going to clip the little circle in between there, and then just give it a pull and it'll come undone. So there you see it's broken. Okay, so now we're going to take our large connecting circle, and usually you have to pull them apart a little bit because they're because the 2 ends are lined up pretty close, but I've already pre-done that. So you can just take the needle nose pliers and pull it apart, and then you're just going to slip it onto either end like that. And then you're just going to take your needle nose pliers and push these 2 ends back together.